Yep, just flying along. Everything's all cool. Two of you at the controls. Who is flying the plane? I don't know. Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today I'm going to be talking about who actually has control in my basement. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I'm gonna be using the KD12X today, Mark II. This is the KD12X Mark One. I've just decided to name it that today. But flight instructors always need their training aids, and I'll hide that over here like a good little instructor. Okay, so story time here is it's got to do, and I learned this very early in my flying career. This story, you might have heard it. I tell it all the time, so somebody's probably heard it before. But it was this girl I went to school with named Vicky, and she was an air cadet, and she graduated. She got her glider license and went on to the Sioux College where I went. And one thing led to another, and I don't think she's a pilot now. Last I heard, she was a flight attendant. But anyways, Vicky was talking about how when she was doing her glider license, that part of the training involved spinning the glider. So that's where you put the glider into a like a stall condition here, and you get your big rudder, and you introduce some yaw, and around you go. So here you go. You're going around and around. You're kind of nose down, stalled condition, and so the gliders that they were flying in the Air Cadets, they had the tandem seating, one person in the front, one person in the back. So the instructor sat in the back, the student sat in the front. So they're spinning around, spinning around, spinning around, and then they recovered. And the instructor in the back said, "Well, Vicky, that was a great recovery." And Vicky said, "I thought you recovered the plane." And then, as it turned out, they were spinning around, spinning around, spinning around, and nobody was flying the plane. So no one was flying the glider. Luckily, the glider was a very stable aircraft, and it just pulled out of it on its own. But you kind of want to know who's really flying the plane. So I always told that story to my students. All of my former students have heard that, and probably any instructor that's ever worked for me or with me. I mean, it's a great story, and it just goes to show you how you really should do what the flight instructor guide says and know who's actually in control of the airplane. Now, one of the things it's now because I heard that story. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. That story could have been a lot worse if the plane was not quite so stable. There's a lot of different factors there where it could have been a little hairy. So I figured I would go over today. It's just a little pet peeve of mine that when you transfer control of the aircraft, is that one person will say, "You have control," the other person grabs the controls and says, "I have control," and then the person that was before, "Let's go." And so that's the way it's taught. And you see a lot of these, and it's really easy to get sloppy on that. And I could see how if you're getting a little sloppy, you're confident, you've been doing that for years, and you go like, "Ah, you have control." Yeah, sure. Your airplane. Yeah, okay. Uh, you got it. Uh huh. Well, once you start getting to "you got it," could be like, like you're not really sure. But if you want to be the real professional pilot that I know you want to be, you can refer to, you can open your hymnal, the flight instructor guide, to page 39, and join us as we sing in flight instruction. No, but so it's the page 39 in the flight instructor guide, and it very specifically says how to transfer control in an aircraft. So if you're in Canada, this is the exact rules. Okay, and so if there's a flight test, a written test, maybe this is your exact answer because it's in the book. Okay, here we go, page 39, and it's under control of aircraft. Okay, bear with me here. Okay, there should never be any doubt as to who has control of the aircraft. The procedure for giving and taking control is A. When you, as pilot in command, wish to give control to your student, say clearly, and this is in quotes, you have control. Teach your student to take control only when ready, and then to say, in quotes again, I have control. You do not relinquish control until you hear this phrase. Boom, right in the book. That's the definitive answer. Okay, here we go, part B. When you want to take control, say, I have control, and then take control, ensuring that your student says, in quotes again, you have control when relinquishing control. Okay, part C. As pilot in command, you have the final authority. So that's someone might be flying the plane, but the pilot command always, 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 always is the person that gets in trouble. So you're in charge. Okay, your request to give or take control should not be questioned, but acted on as quickly as possible by your students. And then part D, the last bit, when the student has control, you must not ride the controls. Now, this is another one that I've seen different little videos and stuff on YouTube where I kind of don't like it. According to the book here in Canada, when the student has control, you must not ride the controls. So that means if your student's flying, maybe it's got a stick or a yoke, your student's flying, your hands are off. Now, they might be on your lap. They might be in kind of crouching tiger, hidden dragon, ultimate reflex, I have control position, but you shouldn't be having your hands right on the controls. Your student may feel that you are taking control, and this could lead to a dangerous situation. Yeah, it can. just kind of trust me on that one. Additionally, you may rob your student of the feeling of accomplishing the maneuver independently. Yeah, so I've had it where the student lands the plane and does a great job, and he said, did you take control there? I was like, no, you did that. I did? Yeah. So there you go. That's the learning factor of effect. And what do we got here? Okay. Additionally, you may rob your student of the feeling of accomplishing the maneuver independently. This procedure must be adhered to at all times. So there we go. At all times, I have control. You have control. Proper transfer of control. Now, that's the way it is according to Transport Canada in the book. I don't know what it says in the FAA in the States. And oh, hey, Safety Dog's here. Check out the Safety Dog channel on YouTube too. And he's got a whole bunch of videos. So, hey, David, I'm glad you liked the my cat install video. Yeah, so we got that's the final word on transferring control of an airplane. Now, I told that to somebody once, and they worked in IT. So sometimes people that are working in IT, they have to take control of someone else's computer remotely. So I don't know if you've ever worked with computers and stuff where you call it tech support, and all of a sudden your cursor starts or your pointer starts going all over the place, and you're like, oh, and then you're fighting to get control of it and what's going on, right? So there's a good example of how I have control, you have control could be in come in handy with even taking control of a computer remotely. So what you might want to do is brief and brief this beforehand, where you're maybe in IT, you call it they call it tech support. I got something wrong with my computer, and you say, okay, I'm going to take control of your computer here remotely. The way that we're going to do this is uh, I'm going to say I have control, and then I'm gonna wiggle the pointer there, and you'll see it wiggle. At that point, you say you have control and take your hands off the mouse or keyboard. There you go. Absolutely clear, no question on who is controlling the computer at that point. And so, I mean, it's not that you can use whatever verbiage you want on that. I know one guy. I did his flight test. He worked at a nuclear plant, and in the nuclear plant, they they do that type of transfer of control over, like, say, if they're doing a shift change or if they're, firing up some reactor or whatever they're doing. They're very regimented into it's like, did you turn this thing on? Yes, I turned that thing on. Not just like, is this thing gonna melt? Nah, you're good. Like, you don't really do that, but you'll see that on YouTube videos too, that where your airplane, okay, and yeah, I don't know, it's a little nitpicky thing for me. And that was that one. Another person I did a couple of flights with before she got too busy and she couldn't continue on with her license. But she was telling me too, she was a medic in the army, and she was saying that during surgeries or any other medical procedures that they were doing, that there was always it was like something confirm, acknowledged. They'd have a certain set protocol in how to make sure that, okay, I am holding the forceps, whatever, something like that. And yeah, so there we go. I have control. You have control. It's an absolute pro maneuver. If you do that with your, if you're going for, I don't know, some kind of training for, maybe you're moving up into the airlines and you're doing some sim training and stuff like that, you cannot go wrong with I have control. You have control. You're going to look like a total pro. And like guys like me, like the instructors like me, if I get somebody that's flying from somewhere else and maybe I check them out on a plane or whatever, she wants to fly the plane a bit. And so it's like I notice it. Maybe it's just my my OCD, man. But anyways, yeah, I have control. You have control. That is the correct answer according to the Flight Instructor Guide in Canada. I'll show you the cover. It looks like that. There we go. Good old TP 975E, page 39. So if you're sitting around somewhere and they're having, well, you don't have to do that. Well, I'll be one of those guys. Those actually, what you have to do is, well, I mean, it's what it says in the book, right? So, all right, looks like what do we got here? Safety doc. What's he saying here? Hearing some chatter of passenger airlines considering only one pilot for flight. Might that be an instance where the plane could be controlled remotely if the pilot is incapacitated? Yeah, I did a little bit of a video on that, on single pilot air transport. And I don't think it's quite there yet. Eventually it will probably go to that. I think just kind of like in general, everything's going to be a lot more automated, and technology is going to come by. There's less and less people in the workforce right now. All the baby boomers are retiring, and a lot of that's, it's going to have to go kind of Japanese style and get robots to do stuff. Some stuff you can do, some stuff you can't do. Bringing in workers from other places, that can help out a bit. But I mean, all the airlines in the world, they can't just steal everybody's pilots, because they're just kind of, they're just kind of there's only so many of them, and you can only train them so fast. So as far as an airplane being controlled remotely from the ground, it could be done. Part of it, yeah, basically, I would just say the technology is not quite there, Doc, and not yet. But it's we're gonna have autonomous taxis, and you're gonna have your. I heard there was a McDonald's in Texas or something like that just no one works there. So it's like, yeah, that's the future. And is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. If I'm not working, I got time to hang out in the basement and talk on YouTube. So, okay. And yeah, so that was it. I wanted to mention a little bit more about pilot and command too. And you can never, as an instructor, you can never emphasize this enough, is that whether it's your private pilot license that you're doing a written test for, commercial, ATPL, you name it, who is in charge, who is responsible for the airplane? Pilot and command. In uncontrolled airspace, who is in charge of collision avoidance. Actually, anywhere. Who's in charge of collision avoidance? For VFR, anyways, it's pilot in command. So just remember, you are the pilot in command, and make it clear who's transferring controls. There is a way to do it. Yeah, that's about it for today. Hopefully, everybody had a good Christmas. And today's Boxing Day in Canada. So, I never really know what that's all about. Anyways, it's like, well, they're selling all their stuff on sale after Christmas. And yeah, it's an old British tradition. So in the Commonwealth, it's Boxing Day. Happy Boxing Day. Some places you got the day off, some places you don't. And there we go. So yeah, and then all right. So let's see. Today is Monday. So Wednesday, I'll be back here Wednesday at noon, because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And we'll just kind of shut her down. Oh yeah, and like and subscribe too. I always forget to say like and subscribe and all that stuff, but I'm not one of those, hey guys. And yeah, another thing there too, I had I put in some Cat 5 Ethernet cable. That video's up now on my channel. It's a long one. Hopefully you learned something from it, and hopefully it's a little bit entertaining. Grab some popcorn, sit down, and treat it like a movie. So anyways, yeah, we're going to shut her down. So thank you for watching. Bye.